Hello there people, been a while hasn't it? Thought it was about time I did a couple of videos. Hopefully the sound's okay. I'm using a new microphone. Now what we're going to do here is ID passes in V-Ray. Alright, quick 10-minute video. I know some of you already know how to use things like this. In that case, this video is not for you. ID passes are used in production and VFX to isolate elements of the model or scene so they can be color corrected and composite correctly. Sometimes, like this particular terrible model of mine of a skeleton from the Ill-Fated of Gods and Men short that you cannot find anywhere apart from in like a drive at the bottom of my mother's wardrobe. The teeth on this were a little bit too bright whenever I came to use it, so I had to have ID passes for it. But what we're going to use is, because it's got a fair few bits and parts, we're going to do some stuff. So first of all, I've added the V-Ray sample rate. Why do you do that? Well, it's a good way of testing out your renders and stuff. Now, these model, it's just the skeleton was pairing each of the bones to a biped. That's why his fingers aren't moving. And a bit of like mocap added. Can't remember where the hell I got the mocap from. But yeah, he's basically just fighting and shit, right? Not interesting. It's not going to win any Oscars, you know what I mean? But it's a useful model. Right, so at the moment, my max subdivs there is on 4, right? And you know what? It ends up as noisy as shit. It looks terrible. You could not use that in production, right? So, a quick way, there are more complicated ways to try and improve your render a bit, is to mess around with the subdivs. So instead of 4, I'll just check that I have everything I need on that, right? So you've got your V-Ray sample rate, which you do is by putting add there. I want to narrate this later on. I did this in the early hours of the morning, so I've got no idea what I'm doing next. So we do, instead of 4, we could put 8, right? Render the same thing again. And you'll notice it's a little bit cleaner. You'll probably be able to tell if you're on full screen. Now, if I put this up higher still, say 25, right? We can see our sample rate. Now look, the areas that had a lower maximum subdiv were all red. Red is bad. We do not want it all red, okay? And the higher you get, like you see there, I've changed it back over. Right? And at 4, everything's red. That is bad. That's terrible, right? We don't want that. Bit of red where it's needed most. In this case, edges and things that are in movement, which are the limbs a lot of the time. So there, you set it differently, and guess what? We've got the red where we need it. It's still a bit noisy. We'll stick it with 23. And off we go. We can mess around with them all day. Basically, yeah, if you're in doubt, bang the subdivs up a little bit, right? There's loads of ways of doing this. A whole lot more complicated than this. I'm just showing you a really simple way and quick way, because I know some of you have the attention span of a goldfish. So you can see that's a bit less noisy. Still got some noise in the motion blur, which is not good. But we could do all that. Right, we're going to add a multi-matte element. All these IDs are multi-matte elements. So I name it as ID1. I have 3 of them now. Now if we go down here, we have these numbers for red is ID1, the green is ID2, blue is ID3, right? So what we're going to do is, if we render this out, it'll be empty because everything is currently set on ID 0 by default, right? So although we've got something in the alpha channel, the actual pass menu is empty. So let me show you how we do this. Dead simple. Select the bits of model you want, right? So in this case, we'll do the head, the skull there without the teeth. Go to your object properties, set the gbuffer object ID, first of all a 1, right? I like to hide them as I'm going along. It makes life so much simpler. Now this one we'll put it 2. You can probably see where I'm going with this. The spine, we'll put the 3, okay? There we go. We can hide all that stuff. Now then, I'm going to set the ones for the other. I've got 2 more copies of this ID, right? Exactly the same multi-matte element. So I'm going to do the upper and lower arms like that, right? And then we're going to make that one 4, okay? And all we did on those other multi-matte IDs is change it from 1, 2, 3 that you see there when I get rid of that window to 4, 5, 6, okay? We do the same thing with the shoulder blades. Oh, excuse me, I had a migraine the other day and my head still feels like I've got a food mixer in it, so Probably not what you really want to do after not doing any 3D videos for ages and ages, you know. But anyway, yeah. Do the same thing again. We up the number each time, although 74 is probably a bit high. Saying that I have worked in productions where there have been a lot of ID passes. This is not because anybody didn't know the job, it's quite simply. You see I'm just whacking these on anyway, because I really don't want to be arsing around here, right? So now we've got 9, and there's 3 on each of those IDs that I keep. Now that's as many as I bloody like. So there's our dude, right? Ready to do some serious bloody kung fu with whatever the hell he's kung fuing. And we'll see in ID 1, it'll start up here. The RGB colour with the gamma that's set wrong. And you see in ID 2, right, which was 4, 5, 6, we've got the shoulder blades. Remember, it's being occluded by the bits that aren't in that ID multipass, right? Same as that one, right? So you don't have to worry about having alpha elements because you're going to pull them and use them to isolate parts. Now you'll notice it also has motion blur, which is bloody useful. So I'm quickly going to save out this stuff here, alright? Bang it in here, just give it a name, one that's spelled correctly. OpenEXR in this case 16 bits, not arsing around with you know the render settings at all. It's basically just to show you how it's useful. I don't know why I'm doing that because there's absolutely fuck all of any interest on this machine at the moment because all the interesting stuff is on my separate laptop. Right, there's our passes. I found the folder. Now, you saw there was a quick flash of the test comp, because I always test before I do everything, you know, just because you never know when something's going to go fucking wrong, to be honest. So here we go. Right, I've already set this up. I have a series of shuffle nodes, which we will go through. I'll also go through this in the next video, which covers some very basic compositing ideas. Again, I am not a compositor. This is only the sort of stuff that I personally would do to test that an asset is right before being passed over. Right, that's all. My logic is if I can do it in 5 or 10 minutes, then the comp department are going to have no problems whatsoever. Right, so I'll connect ID 3 up to all those 3 shuffle nodes. Now if I click on one of these, right, shuffle nodes are easy. What we want is the stuff from the red channel, then the blue, well, it should be the green, but it's the blue and the green, right? All in all those ticky little boxes, right? So we're copying the data from the green channel into the blue channel and the alpha and the red channel, right? We're doing that and adapting to each of the channels. So in here, he says try to put his cigarette out. Same sort of thing, right? So depending on which one we want, we have different bits and pieces, right? And each of those can be used as a mask. So there we have again, that's the blue channel, so all the ticky boxes have copied all the stuff from the blue channel right across. It normally looks like that, right? That's the way you need it, like that, to pull from a certain channel. Now, you can see there, it looks white, right? It will be white across all channels because we've copied that information across. Now, there's a defocus there. For whatever reason, I thought it was a cool idea at 2 in the morning. Now, turn that on, and I've pulled from the blue channel just the feet, right? So his feet are now yellow, right? There they are there. They turn out red. Yeah, we turn on the red channel now. Connect over to here, boom, right? That's the rib cage. Well, now, hey, it's now yellow, all right? So that yellow would designate whatever your colour correction or needs are. Now on this other one, I can do the same sort of thing again. Press D to switch it back on. We might need to change it from something to something else. Well, at the moment that's set on red, so that's just the shoulder blades at the back. You see we have the occlusion of the rib cage itself. And we take that off. We can put it on this one. Well, we'll do the arms. Yeah, why not? Let's do arms. Arms are good. There we go. You should really name these things, right? These shuffle nodes as red, green and blue and stuff. It makes it easier. At this point, composites are having a pink fit with the absolute shitstorm that is my comps. Anybody who's had to deal with my comps knows this. They're always a bloody mess because I'm a 3D artist, not a bloody compositor. So there you go. And that's how you basically do it. It's how you use an ID patch. You can do whatever you like with these things. You can see on this main render, the gamma's all wrong because the dark points at the ends of the bone aren't showing up. But we'll forget about that, right? Because it's a really old model, as in about 5 years old. So there you go, you get your defocus and shit. hope that's been useful. There'll be another video going up at the same time. I'm trying to do a few because I've got something coming up before much long, which means I will not be able to do many. And I'm sorry for speaking so fast, but I have to fit all this in. Bye bye.